very interesting tonight. I love the fact that we brought them into the real world here. That, you know, once you go in a show, choreographers don't come out there and say, oh, we'll re-choreograph it for you. If you go into Chicago, then you do Bob Fosse's choreography. If you go into West Side Story, you do Jerome Robbins' choreography. Nobody comes and says, oh, we can make that bigger for you, or we'll take that pointed toe out and give you flat feet. You do it. So tonight they had to do the choreography. But what I don't think they really understood was Mia Michaels is more than just a steps choreographer. She gives an entire story behind it. There's a world behind her choreography. And you have to get into that world, and then you have to take us into that world. This isn't just a question of doing technique, of thinking, oh, I've got to point my toe here, I've got to keep my leg straight here. That should happen naturally. That's what you do in dance studios. When you get on the professional stage, you then have to be a performer. And I was disappointed with a lot of their performances, to be frank.
Well, I mean, I was really hoping. I knew that number was coming, obviously, and there's something about that music, and it takes me right back to that time. And yeah, I still am grieving over the situation of my father, of course, and that number brings it all back to me. Even, you know, whether they did a good job or they didn't, I think I still would have been upset. But the fact is they did a wonderful job of doing that number again. You know, it's a tough time when there's a lot of people that came up to me that are affected by cancer and relatives that have passed with cancer that have been affected by that number as well. You have to be, you know, we're only human up there, and some things are directly related to what's going on in your life right then and there. You know, it's either that or I'm just not a great actress. I can't fake it. So, and the addiction piece, you know, I loved both their takes on that. You know, I love Capono and Kayla doing it, and I have to say, Cole's demented, quirky ways about how he did it. He looked like a little dancing ninja up there. He was very demon-like as well. It was very interesting, very powerful. And Lindsay, I thought, wow, did she step up to the plate, and it saved her. It absolutely saved her tonight.
It's much easier to tone down than it is to bring it. Yeah, you just start calming it down and say, is that real? Is it real? Is it really coming from the right place? Or are you just pulling your face? We get an awful lot of kids in auditions that go in, we call the reach, where they reach out. And this face comes on, I go, what are you reaching for? And they go, you, Nigel. And you go, oh, shut up. It's something, it's just, you know, you've got to have an image.
It's a tricky job. They've just got to keep pushing. They must be exhausted. The amount of adrenaline, you could feel it in the air. Yeah. They've just got to keep calm and just see the end. You know?
And keep fit. I mean, you've got to really look after yourself in this kind of process. There's a lot of work, a lot of potential for injury. They just look after themselves and keep going.
We've got a show, A Chance to Dance, premieres on Ovation and on Facebook, which is, I think, an industry first. So hopefully lots of people will be watching it.
Yeah.
And
yeah, very excited.
The story is Nigel Lythgoe gives us the job of putting a show on with an all-new company in 28 days. And we do it despite the show, I think, is the right terminology.
Yeah, it's not like this show at all. There's no kind of shiny floor, there's no spotlights for the judges to stand in. It's quite different.
Half the time it was like, get that camera out of my face, I need to get the show on. You know, it was a very tight deadline, and we put theatre shows on. We're not, you know, television presenters, so it's a journey really.
It's called A Chance to Dance, and it's with the Ballet Boys. And I challenged them. I said, listen, guys, you're really good. You've been all over the world creating these companies, but you've never been to America. And so come over here. And we had a Dizzy Feet Gala booked in New York. And I think we had 28 days, and we had to figure out what was going in the show. So I said, put a company together. Oh, and by the way, choreograph something, and we'll put it on the show.
And a real prize for a dancer is not about money, or it's about performing. So our dancers get to perform on a proper tour with So You Think You Can Dance. And, you know, we've seen the standard tonight. It's amazing. That's a proper prize.
Yeah, we're very excited, and I'm sure, and all the dancers that come on to the top 20, they're all hoping that they get to do that tour and get to prolong it and be together, because they all are friends right now. So anytime somebody goes home, as you saw tonight, they were all crying. It's hard to go home at this point, but the ones that get to go on to the tour, they know it's not going to end. Even if they are getting kicked off next week, they know they're all going to be together for about 3 months straight in tight quarters, traveling all day and night all over the United States. So it's kind of a special moment, and So You Think You Can Dance when they make the top 10, because it means that it's not the end. And there will be a few lucky alternates that will be picked at the end of the show to go on that tour as well, because injuries and this, that, and the other happens, and you have to have backup.
Good to know.
So put your vote in for me. There's no place to vote, but all the people on Twitter, they're going to start attacking me and saying, take so-and-so on the tour, take so-and-so on the tour. So